Yellowstone's got this excellent new Men in Black laser adventure. Save the Earth from the slime of the universe, and they'll make you an honorary MIB agent. There's this video wall, and birthdays are blasted easy. They're almost everywhere. Are you ready for the new DZ?
So I'll just, okay.
Oh!
What? I'm sorry, what just happened to you? Did you blow out your hip? What just, are you okay? You're fine, you're okay. Okay, just do one more time, I'm sorry.
Harrison Ford!
Also, her mit Harrison Ford.
Fantastic. It was fantastic.
Natalie is fantastic.
It's going to be fantastic. I mean, it's going to be...
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. And it's awesome. I'm enjoying absolutely awesome.
I'm so happy. George is so happy. It's just fantastic.
Welcome to the Bombad Cast.
Hey, good day, scurvy puffer pigs. It be me, your boy, the Cannon Junkie, and it just be me. Scotty is he's out. He's on assignment tonight. He's on assignment doing what Scotty does, and we're just gonna leave it at that. He's out there. He's daft punking it. He's doing whatever he wants to do. Welcome to another episode of the Bombad Cast. And I am not alone. I have two wonderful guests, and I'm not going to mince words here too much more. I'm probably going to talk for about like 10 more minutes. We'll see. But guys, we're so excited to have you here with us tonight. We're going to be talking about Skeleton Crew, episode 3. Oh my God, the search for Fuzzball. We found Fuzzball, but where did he go? Where'd Fuzzball go? Where is his family? Where's their family? Where are they going? Where would they be doing right now? You know, we're going to find out. We're asking the tough questions tonight, but I can't do it alone because I, again, have two wonderful guests, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in the first guest. She is a wonderful friend, such a lovely person, very knowledgeable, one of my favorite people in the entirety of New York City and probably the world, and it is the one, the only, let me find a clip. It is Regan.
You're not in Guatemala now, Dr. Ropata.
Hello,
Hi.
Regan. How are you doing?
Boy, you laid it on thick.
I did. Well, I was gonna say, yeah, it's okay. So I have. I just realized that clip doesn't cover the entire screen. So let's. You know what? We ruined the magic a little bit, but it's okay. It's everything's Regan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm trying to cover the fact that my closet is completely broken. So hopefully you can't see that.
Didn't even notice.
Other
Didn't
than
even
that,
notice.
I'm doing well. I am in the Christmas spirit, as are you. And thank you for following my directives as you should. But I am very excited for Star Wars right now. I'm just feeling all like the good juju of Star Wars like I haven't
That's
in
right.
quite some time. So yeah, I'm feeling great.
That is wonderful. Okay, and I'm just now realizing you have like mini ears.
I do because I'm a
So
Disney
there we go.
show. You know how we do.
Oh, you do. We do how you do. Okay, all right. I don't know what I just said there, but you know what? We don't have just Regan and myself tonight. We also have another wonderful guest. They are one of my all-time favorite people of all time as well. I've not met this person in person yet, but it will happen someday. And when it happens, it's going to be great because they're like just one of my siblings from another family. I love them so much. It is the one, the only. It's out of One Hat Town. It is Andy from Force Frizz Rewatch. Hold on one second. Let me find a rad clip for Andy. Oh, my God. Here we go.
Hey, mate, who invited you here?
Yar-har!
Welcome.
I'm at my most powerful. We got pirates, baby.
Pirates are
Pirates in space. It's kind of
Force Friends
crazy.
Rewatch hasn't had a new episode in like 3 years, but yes.
Haven't you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Genders,
This
Queers,
shows
and
how well
Buccaneers
and on
is the
top of
show we
things.
shill
My
for
brain
now.
is a well-oiled machine tonight. Well, listen, Andy, and how's it been going? How's your winter solstice going so far?
It's been great. Speaking of Genders, Queers, and Buccaneers, we just wrapped up covering Black Sail Season 2. And before we move on to Season 3, we're about to cover Treasure Island because Black Sails is a Treasure Island prequel show. So, like, Skeleton Crew hitting right now is just, like, phenomenal timing.
It's perfection. Absolutely. I'm going to say, and, let's just we can go ahead and just dive in here. Let's just go ahead and dive into the wonderful world of Skeleton Crew because like we've been talking like backstage even before this, we gave all the good stuff backstage obviously because that's what you do. But we've got this show that's got the big 80s vibes and stuff, and I think that's what everyone really kind of like sees on the surface, but it's also just like Regan, you were saying, just a really fun adventure. And I don't what is it about Skeleton Crew that is scratching that itch for you that other shows like haven't really been recently?
I'm going to be honest, and I know that I've said this like the last 3 shows that we've covered, but number one, I came in with no expectations and kind of additionally, I had to counter my I don't want to use skepticism. That's probably not the right word, but I was like, okay, Stranger Things in space. Why not? And I was kind of and then like in the world building first episode, I was like, okay, it's Bend, Oregon, like it's Space Goonies. That's fine. I'm into it. And then when it really started to get going, like I know that we pick on the Fandom Menace type people kind of rightfully for expecting Star Wars to make them feel like they felt when they were 8 years old. But immediately it was me watching Star Wars like when I was 8 years old. Even like honestly, from the second I saw them like playing with figures, I was like, oh, my heart. But then once like the adventure actually started rolling, like like I could like project myself as a child into that adventure. And like my boss immediately, who is like the biggest, he does not like Kathleen Kennedy Star Wars. He did not like The Last Jedi. We kind of like go back and forth fighting about this stuff all the time. He was like, my kids love this. My kids are so into it. And that just like, it just like warmed my heart. Cause look, I mean, when I went to all the sequel trilogy movies, there were lots of kids dressed up as Rey and Finn and everything. But I just feel like there's just something about this that is so pure and just so like it's like unfettered in its fantasy that I think it's like you can do nothing but enjoy it. You can do nothing but be having fun. it's great. I don't know. It's great.
Yeah. No, Andy, what about you? Is this like really scratching that itch more so than other ones? I know it's scratching some itches for you more so than others, probably. If no one's noticed yet, this is how they usually dress.
So I have not loved all of the Star Wars Disney Plus shows. I'd say I've probably disliked about half of them. Thought a quarter were okay, and thought a quarter were like good to great. So I've been I try not to be overly negative, but sometimes Star Wars doesn't hit for you, and you just move on to the next thing. And I did not think this was going to hit for me. I was just like, cast of young actors, the concept, they're lost in space, interesting. I don't know, maybe. And then I saw a picture of Jude Law's costume, and I saw that he had a blaster that looked like a flintlock, and I said, okay. You got my attention. Okay. Like there's a piratey thing going on here. That's cool. And then I saw the trailer with the God, what was the song?
The Major Tom cover?
Yeah, and the Major Tom and Huttese. And I was just like, yo, they're doing stuff with this show. They're taking some swings. And I think what is capturing me is, one, not just all of the pirate nautical swashbuckling stuff happening, which I adore. The fact that it opened with a boarding action. Are you kidding me? Incredible. Instead of swinging on the rigging to the other ship, they're like harpooning and then drop. Oh my God. I can geek out about all the cool pirate stuff for hours. But it's not just that. It's that it's also it's just really well made. It's well executed. There's great characters. There's great writing. It's good. It's a good frickin' show, and it's also a good Star Wars show, and it's also a good pirate show. So I'm stoked.
Right. No, I love that. And so let me ask you both this question, because we said the original conceit for our version of this reaction show. And I love that for you, by the way, because there is a lot of good pirate stuff, and we'll get more into the pirate stuff for sure, because there's a lot of really good, there's a lot of Tortuga vibes of Port Borgo, which I love and stuff. And anyway, but let me ask this, because the original conceit for our reaction show was going to be each week we're going to ask where Fuzzball was until we found Fuzzball. Fuzzball was in the first day, so we shot our wad pretty early. Let me ask, where do you think Fuzzball is, right now? That's just to the whole panel right here. Where do you think Fuzzball is right now at this moment, during this? And then listen, I see you, Brian Fry. Hold on one sec. Where's your comment? Fuzzball was killed when that fuel line snapped. How dare you?
That's savage.
How dare you? But also, that's really funny.
Fuzzball is making slow, sweet love to the eyeball rat.
But the rat's with it. Okay.
I think Fuzzball's with Joe Organa.
I think Fuzzball's. I mean, I saw him on the last stream. I feel like he pushed open his door.
I feel like
and
Joe
came
stole it.
Room. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, you're probably right. Anyway, let's talk about the episode. So we start off pretty quick. We start off with the parents again. We get to see kind of it's the first time we're seeing we saw Neil's folks, I think, through a window, but we haven't even seen KB's moms or anything like that. So this is the first time we're meeting them. And I don't know, what y'all think of that first scene? Just kind of the long shots of that droid walking to their house.
So I gotta point something out, and I don't like to talk about the Phantom Menace, but here we are. I saw some Phantom Menace douchebag talking about the woke agenda and how they're pushing the homosexual lifestyle in Star Wars. I did not realize that there were a pair of lesbian moms in the parent scene. I missed it, and I got a head on a swivel.
Because you know what? If it's not something that bothers you. Like if it's not something that
Yeah,
you care
like,
about, you don't register
just,
it. You know?
I'm like,
You
I'm like,
see
how
all
are
these people. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just like, how are you so bothered by that? Like, it's the smallest, like, littlest bit of representation. Like,
Yeah,
I completely missed it. Went over my head, and I'm constantly looking for the queers. So, like,
right.
It's cool they're there. I wish it was more important characters, but a lot of intrigue happening with the parent plot.
I will say though, like I didn't feel like, I don't know, that maybe we might have hit on like my one complaint with the entire thing was that I didn't like the direction of that scene because it just did not feel like the parents did not convince me that they were reacting to real peril. Like the parents to me, it kind of came off like they were making a fuss about something they knew would be buttoned up in Star Wars fashion, like by the end of like 8 episodes. You know what I mean? Because I feel like maybe it's just nowadays, I don't know, we're used to, like, we see people on the news, anything where there's kids involved, and it's like it's a different kind of hysteria. It's like feral hysteria, and the parents were like, but actually I could be wrong because I'm just realizing now it just could be on at Aden, like everything is so bureaucratic in its way that is actually also how they react to that. So actually, now that I'm saying it out loud to myself, it does make sense. But
no, you know, in the script, I think it said for them to act like parents in an 80s movie who are like concerned that their kids are gone, but also kids go from
like
weeks
kids,
at a time.
Yeah.
They get on their dirt bikes and they ride to another town, harass
Drinking water
old
from the
people there, and come back.
hose.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Oh, we survived. They survived drinking on the from the hose and at Atten for sure. Yeah, absolutely. They were in the back of the truck without a seatbelt, but their trucks are also on rails, if you notice. So anyway, there's that. But yeah, no, I'm interested to see more with what's going on with the parents, just because it's very intriguing to me. The whole conceit of why they've got these people living in this, what seems to us very mundane and very too much of this earth for Star Wars, which is why it's so weird in Star Wars. I don't know, like I'm intrigued by kind of what's going on there, but yeah, I get what you're saying. But I think it is like just one of those, I don't know. I'm just more like, I'm interested to see who this, what did they say? Not the caretaker. Is it the caretaker? What was the name of the
supervisor, right?
The supervisor,
Right.
something like that. Yeah. Because for one thing, all those creepy droids have camera heads, you know, and so.
But
it's
isn't
like
it
a Wizard
weird?
of Oz thing.
Like how there's always like a weird parallel at, like I hosted Gremlins last night. And like I was thinking to myself, wow, it's really funny how like this and so many things in the 80s centered around something that was genuinely alarming and panicking, and there's always something cold and bureaucratic telling you like not to worry about it, and it can't possibly be what you think. As right now I'm in New York, and there were like, you know, mysterious drones flying over like the Verrazano Bridge, flying over my apartment. So it's like an interesting parallel, because I'm feeling like those droids are so just like, you know, like Star Wars is always pretty heavy-handed in its allegory, and it's just so like the level of bureaucracy we deal with now when we're concerned and scared about anything, and they're just like, obey the law and everything's fine, you know. And
Yeah,
it just was very interestingly timed to me.
Well, and the way that they put the whole like your kids illegally left the barrier on a starship, it's like they're children. How could they? I mean, it's if they're illegally doing anything, like there's no way that they know what they're doing. It's just there's a whole there's something weird going on there, and it's very very crazy. And it's Scotty mentioned this last night on Star Wars Explained, but just like it. That they're not cutting back and forth between the parents and the kids. They're kind of just showing like a little bit at the beginning of the episodes to kind of show you like where the parents are, and then they're like, and here's where the kids are. It's kind of an like I kind of like that format a little bit. I feel like it really just kind of, for one thing, it's probably better for the children who are going to be watching this as well. But But I don't know. I kind of like that format. What do you guys think? You like the format of that, or would you like to be like going back to what they're doing more often? I don't know. There's a lot of more pirate action happening.
Yeah, I want to be with the kids. Like I'm more interested. Like the parents are set pieces as far as I'm concerned. They are there to make you aware of the nefarious mystery of Atten. But that's the purpose that they serve. They are not the story. The kids are,
Right.
Yeah, I do think it works. It does remind me of Stranger Things, where like the parents are real characters in Stranger Things, as opposed to like the Goonies, where like the parents aren't characters.
Right.
I'm definitely intrigued by the mystery. I do not trust these droids. I do not trust Atten. I love all the wild speculation fans are coming up with about like what's going on. It's very fun to read. I'm not indulging in any tinfoil, but I am enjoying taking it in. And yeah, I do think it works to get the parent stuff out of the way in the first 5 minutes and then focus on the kids, because I completely agree. The kids are the real story here.
Right. Okay, well, and so then let's just get to it then, because we cut to them actually escaping. Like they're like in the middle of the escape with Jod Nanawood. I'm not going to get used to saying Nanawood. I'm sorry, that just feels. I hate that. I feel like I'm trying to sing a Will Smith song every time I say it. Oh my
He's
God.
Crimson Jack, baby.
Crimson Jack is that? Yeah, he's all.
I want him
Captain
to get a different
Silvo.
name everywhere he goes. Everywhere he goes,
I wonder if he's gonna if they're gonna keeping with that convention. I wonder if he's going to drop Jackson at some point, and then we're all gonna have like traumatic flashbacks.
It's
Jackson.
you're Blorko.
But yeah, no. Okay. Do we have any theories on? Do you think he's pulling the wool over their eyes, so to speak, about the Force, or do you think that he actually has it?
Sensitive. I'm sure that my guess is like his backstory is going to be that he did in his youth, like he was Force sensitive, and he probably did like, train as a youngling or something. But then he became a scoundrel. But he's going to be like a scoundrel with a heart of gold, as they are. And maybe ultimately, like this whole adventure will reconnect him. Like to he's going to like he'll give, my guess is, Star Wars being Star Wars, he will have some tragic something that gives him a valid reason for having abandoned the Jedi, abandoned the Force, and like his act of whatever selflessness that he does for the kids will ultimately bring him back to it. And you know what, even if it's a trope they've done a million times, this story is so like, so far it's so wholesome and so pure, I'm like fine with it. I'm very happy with it. So,
right, absolutely. And what about you?
I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that he wasn't a Jedi. I really would like the idea if he was in like the Agra Corps or something like that. Like he never got taken as a Padawan. He like flunked out of the Jedi, and then he was just like, "Well, I don't want to grow crops. Screw this. I'm out." And
right.
Like if he wasn't around for Order 66 because he flunked out, he was smoking cigarettes behind the bleachers with the cool kids at the Jedi Academy. And I also like if we're doing Treasure Island in the same way that like Beckett doesn't get redeemed. Beckett tries to shoot Han and gets shot because Beckett is supposed to be Long John Silver. If this is another Long John Silver rip, then like he shouldn't get redeemed, and I think that'd be dope. I think it'd be really cool if the kids learned the lesson that like sometimes adults suck, and like you might like him, you might think he's cool, but like that doesn't make him a good guy. I think that would be really, really neat.
Yeah, I think so too. The only like, and I kind of, I had that hope because it would always be interesting to see them flip flop on things. The only reason I feel like they're not gonna is because they are choosing to air it around the holidays. That's like the only reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. That like Christmas, you want that like Scrooge turnaround.
Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is a good point. I mean, what I love is it's so in flux for me right now. because all the materials we've gotten for this is like, okay, so he does seem like a Force user. The way they've been building him, especially in this episode, it really made me question whether he actually is or not, because for one thing, he talks a lot about he goes very strong on the Force platitudes and stuff like that at the very beginning, and usually that's like someone who's pretending to be a Jedi,
right? But it's
like
also somebody who would know what he knows. Like his brain shifts into gear, and they make a point of showing that.
That's fair.
Like that
That's
he's cognizant of what he should say in the moment.
Right. Well, he's just a fast on his feet kind of guy type of thing too. The
thing he did with the guards, I don't think he could have faked. Like they brought up the way you could have faked got the keys, but then like the thing he did with the guards, that was like classic old Ben stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. I just wonder if he's got some kind of I'm just like wondering especially because there was such a connection with him and KB this episode. I feel like KB really is just kind of like on to him. I feel like, and I've been loving it. By the way, KB is like,
this was KB's episode.
Yeah.
KB was incredible. And I've loved her since the first episode, but just like, she was absolutely just blowing me away this episode. But the connections that they've kind of had and everything, I feel like, she's got the enhancements that obviously I think we found out this episode, medical enhancements.
Which is definitely foreshadowing to something that's also.
I feel it. Well, right. There is that could happen, but I'm wondering if like maybe he's got some sort of like implant or something that helps him like do like mimic the Force or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
You've been hanging out in too many tinfoil corners, my friend.
It's my show, Andy. It's my I'm joking. I know it's crazy, but I'm just like at this point, I'm like I'm ready for the ride they're gonna take me on with Jod. But just like, yeah, he's got that like reluctant dad energy that everybody likes, like if we get all the way back to I loved his reaction of seeing the ship and everything like that. And I just noticed I rewatched it tonight with my kiddo. And I didn't notice my first watch, but I just noticed that there's just always a cloud of dust like floating around the ship, which is kind of cool. As Molly Damon was talking about how it looks like it's like the pig pen of Star Wars spaceships and stuff like that, and it really is. And so that was kind of a great visual coming around there. I didn't notice that the dust was just swirling still.
I actually thought for a minute, like I was like, because I'm pretty visually impaired, and I was like, oh, this is what a bad render. This is like clearly they went cheap on the CGI, and then I was like, oh, okay.
It's covered in dust. It's just dirty as hell.
I love how dirty just like the inside is too. Like they're just dead bodies everywhere.
That is like they need to disinfect like bad. Like those kids are going to get some kind of disease if they're not careful.
I love the visual of Jod going up to the one guy like pinned to the wall and like looking in the corpse's eye sockets before like pulling the dagger out. That was some powerful pirate stuff. I love Jod like also like taking clothes off the bodies. Like I think that's where he got his jacket.
Measuring his shoes and stuff like that. Yeah. Just like, getting a new outfit and everything, creating a new persona maybe. So but no, I love all that stuff. We also have to talk about they get on the ship and then they're like, oh, we got to go get our droid. And he's like, we don't really need a droid. And then just like the whole, I love that tired dad energy of like, no, you stay here where it's safe. I'll go get the droid.
That's classic Star Wars shorthand, is to not respect droids. Like you're morally questionable if you're bad to droids.
Right.
It's classic Star Wars.
Well, and I mean, he's got the line at the end of the episode too. I don't know if y'all caught this, but like where he said, you should never trust a droid or something. So he's got some kind of past with droids. So I don't know, maybe we'll see some kind of past in the Clone Wars or something, or maybe just a droid he was close to or something like that, possibly. But I mean, I love that whole scene of him trying to find which droid
But I also did think that it was interesting, and it says a lot about him as a character. Like, it really would not have been difficult for him to like really just kind of force the kids to go without the droid. There wasn't a compelling reason for him to go back and, you know as be as wanted as he was, like, and really risk as much as he did to go get him. So like I also felt like, because I really wasn't certain from the beginning, like if he was just going to end up being a complete villain. And that's kind of partly what convinced me that like he probably is going to have, and I hate to use this word, the standard Star Wars turnaround. Hopefully that does not involve death for redemption, but because there wasn't a reason for him to do that other than
right.
he was just like, resigning to them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I just, I don't know, that whole sequence though, of where they get to the ship and they're like, no, we got to go back and get it. Cause I was like, when are we going to get the droid? And he's like, oh no, I'll go back. Okay. I'll go back and get the droid. And then like finding him, like having to like have that conversation with Alfred Molina and stuff, which was fantastic. That was very piratey. I love that. Felt like straight out of like Pirates of the Caribbean or something right there, just like, Captain, sit down and have some tea, kind of a thing. But just like, I love the kids fighting over like how he could be a fake Jedi, and just like that him in the background is so subtle. It's so subtle. It's nice. You start seeing the blaster bolts and stuff, and just, I didn't think about how like tiny the cockpit was in that thing until he's like leaning over inside of it, like trying to drive like this. It's just like, it was just so, I don't know, just so much fun. That was very Han Solo. And then of course you get the daring, I know how to get out of this. I'm going to snap this cable off, and the cable won't come off, of course. But just like, I don't know, man. Anyway, Fuzzball better not have died during that cable snapback. That was great too. Is like, hey, isn't that dangerous? And it's like, not for you. It's dangerous for everyone behind you. So.
And we got Jaleel White speaking a line.
Yeah.
Finally.
Space Urkel, I have not been able to digest it fully. It's like too amazing for words, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. I love that he seems like he's Captain Brutus's right-hand man, and I love that for him. So, but yeah, no, okay, all right. So I'm trying to remember where we go from here. We go from there to
Space Owl House.
Space Owl. Oh.
Griffith Observatory.
Okay. The Griffith, yeah, the observatory moon or whatever. I love how, I don't know if anyone else kind of connected this to me. I love how it was a moon that looked exactly like our moon.
Yes.
It was just straight up the moon. With, a nice, like, beautiful gas planet in the background and stuff like that. But I love that. And oh my God, the music. When they get to the moon,
the shot of them walking in like the silhouettes of them against the gas giant, beautiful.
It was beautiful. I just never thought I would see the day that I would hear theremin in Star Wars. And
although it seems like you should have by now. Like, it just seems like it would go kind of hand in hand,
It's very much of that like 1960s pulp, like, kind of feel and stuff like that. Absolutely. But yeah, just like there was something about the use of it when getting to the moon with the kids, like kind of wide-eyed looking, that really felt right. There's just like the otherworldliness of that. And so, yeah, no, I really was digging that. But yeah, okay, let me see here. Let's talk a little bit more though about, because we didn't really talk about like kind of the conversations there. We're talking about whether we can trust Jod or not, right? Mm-hmm. And then he makes food, right? I assume he just made that pot of food like just while like just there, and like
kids probably don't know how to cook.
Yeah, no, you're like, hey, by the way, there's plenty right there. So he obviously will feed the children, right? He goes and gets his clothes. I love how much Smee, we'll just call him Smee, SM33. He's just call. I'm just waiting for the day that they actually decide to call him Smee. But SM33, that conversation that he has with him, I love that he doesn't trust him at all. Like he knows that there's something up, like Jedi, eh? kind of a thing. And the I was great. Like when he comes back around the corner just to go I to him was so good. This has done the comedy really well. I feel like that in a lot of the shows that they've
Well,
had
if
the
you have
comedy, but
Nick
it
Frost and you're not doing the comedy well, then you're failing completely.
That's fair.
I've seen some
absolutely.
people say that like Shmi is too much, and I could not disagree more. I love Shmi. I think he's hilarious. I think he's hitting the right like nautical beats. I love that he has a peg leg and he's missing an eye. I love that he's got a little rat that lives in it, and I love that he talks like a salt dog. Like I think Shmi rules. I'm Shmi pilled all day.
But you know what? I would rather see Star Wars just say fuck it and go all in on what it's trying to do with the pirate theme than try to kind of dance around it in a galactic way. Like screw it, you know? Like if you want to make space pirates and make it fun. And they're doing like having Shmi be Shmi exactly the way that he is with all of the pirate lingo and mannerisms makes it like 18,000 times better.
Yeah.
You know?
It is just as silly as Harrison Ford doing A Fistful of Dollars More in A New Hope with cowboy shit. It is just as on the nose as Ben and Vader having a samurai fight in the Death Star. Like it is just as on point as those things are. But because that's in A New Hope, no one blinks an eye. Well, like, yeah, we're doing pirates now, and shut up, it rules.
It does rule. It rules so hard. No, just like I love how on board Smee has been with the kids too. I mean, like all he had, it's pirate rules, you know. It's like that whole, oh, you killed the captain, you're the captain. Okay, all right, fine. Just like that whole, I don't know, like he, especially there at the end, and we're jumping around a whole lot, but like that moment at the end where they get to the ramp and I think Fern calls back up to Smee and he's like, "Are you having trouble with the Jedi, Captain?" Just like the way that he was like standing like their bouncer like on the ship was so
he
good.
evens the playing field immediately, because if Jod wanted to hurt the kids, the kids are in trouble. Like they're screwed. But like Shmi is very formidable despite being very old and beat up, and so like it immediately turns this into more of a cat and mouse game.
Like, and again, yet another reason that Jod had no compelling reason to go back and get this thing that would ultimately be an impediment to whatever evil nefarious plan he would have had. So like, you know, that just kind of made me more confident, I guess, in his intentions. But I also like the fact that they still managed to make me question it throughout the entire episode. Like I kept kind of just waiting for the other shoe to drop. But yeah, like, you know, like they really established the fact that Shmi can kick a lot of ass, that he's absolutely still dangerous despite being decrepit. Like my thought was, like, when he wasn't on the ship at first, I was like, okay, like maybe possibly the kids are going to be in trouble. There's no compelling reason for Jod to put something back in his way if he's going to do something really bad. I might eat those words by the end of it, but
that's fair. I mean, it's really, I'm riding the fence just because it feels like I think they're doing such a good job of having him ride the fence that I see both. I foresee both of y'all's. Like I still am not sure where I fall on that because of how well I feel like that will he won't he has been done so far.
Can we go to Andy's Pirate Corner since we're talking about Shmi a bunch?
Absolutely.
Can I take you guys to Andy's Pirate Corner?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yo ho, a bottle of rum. Let's fucking go.
Just to establish my credentials, I'm not a professional pirate expert, but I would say I'm an amateur one. These are some of my favorite books.
We have the books. Oh my
god!
So if you guys want to learn about pirates, you should read all these books. They're great books. I like the
Take a
gay ones the
screenshot.
best, but they're great.
Aren't they
I'm
all?
very interested in Sodomy and the Pirate Tradition.
It's a really good book. I also, this is probably my other favorite, is the Sea Rovers Practice.
Okay.
I'm a big historical pirate head. So Andy's Pirate Corner. I already mentioned the boarding action. I mentioned swinging on the rigging. The sexy werewolf with all the pistols.
Oh, huge.
That's called a brace of pistols. What pirates would do is they would take a belt and they would attach 2 pistols on either end, shoot one, drop it, shoot the other, and not worry about reloading. Or they would carry them in like a bag, and they would just have like a purse full of pistols, shoot one, drop it, pull out the next one from the purse. So I love that we're just seeing that in Star Wars. I think it rules. The idea of overthrowing a captain, captains were elected by the crew. So the crew owned the ship, the captain did it. And the crew would say, hey, we want so-and-so to be the captain, and we want to elect so-and-so to be the quartermaster. And the captain could not be challenged while at sea. The idea was, if you are raiding, the captain's word is law. But if you are on land, everything is up to a vote. Everything. And what's really spicy about that is women were pirates, and they had an equal vote. People of color were pirates, and they had an equal vote. Most crews were 50% people of color or more. So black people, women, indigenous people were voting on pirate crews and practicing.
So our flag means death was pretty accurate then.
No, not at all. But it's delightful. Our flag means death is delightful. But the idea that everyone had an equal share on the crew, which I think is really fascinating, and it's a very interesting look at in terms of government, how pirates worked. Shmi with the peg leg and the eye patch situation. Pirates had health insurance. If you were hurt on a job, based on what the injury was, left arm, left eye, right eye, left leg, right leg, fingers, etc., you would get a payout, and the crew would pay you an extra compensation for the injury. So why do pirates have hook hands? It's because they don't kick you off the crew when you get disabled. You get to still be part of the crew, and they take care of you because you got hurt on the job. Shmi having that peg leg, it's a shout out to old timey pirate movies, but also it's because pirates believed in taking care of each other.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
God,
this show is
so
doing
awesome.
so much. The kids sleeping on hammocks, that's classic naval stuff. They learned about hammocks from indigenous peoples, and they were like, this is so much better than sleeping on the floor on the ship, because you couldn't have beds on the ship because the movement, you'd get chucked. What else? The Kim, all the astrogation stuff is like old timey pirate legends, and reminds me very much of like Treasure Island or Treasure Planet, where there's the professor character that they take the map to help like figure out like, oh, where's Treasure Island? Like that's Kim is serving that function, and she's immediately suspicious of Crimson Jack, just like that character in Treasure Island is suspicious of the map, and then Long John Silver. So this show is doing a bunch. Queer people, pirates, big thing. Haven't had much of that on the show yet. But if you want to hear a lot about queer people and pirates, Genders, Queers, and Buccaneers is my podcast.
Nice.
We talk a lot about that. So
yes,
Andy's Pirate Corner, that's some of the cool pirate stuff that's been going on the show so far. And of course the branding of the hulls. You can't have a Jolly Roger in space because no flags. So the idea that they brand the hulls, I love that. That's sexy. That rules.
Yeah.
That's freaking dope. I'm very into that. So this has been a great show for pirate fans and nautical fans for sure.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, it's been, and like you say, it's got all the vibes of like all the things. You know, it's got Treasure Island. It's giving it. I mean, seriously, big Treasure Island, Treasure Planet vibes and stuff like that. I've seen a lot of people compare it to Treasure Planet, which again, it's the space retelling of Treasure Island. But
I'm going to mention one more thing. If you've
Please,
never read
please do.
Treasure Island, for my money's worth, I've read a lot of versions because it's public domain, so people readapt it and retell it. My favorite version is the Audible version from 2017. It's got a full cast recording. It's got Tivik from Rogue One in it. It's got Catherine Tate in it.
Ooh.
It's a great cast. But the 2017 version on Audible, it's free because it's public domain. Full cast recording. It is for my dollar. It's the best version of it. So go check that out.
That sounds honestly. That sounds incredible.
It
I would
sounds
love
so
like a
cool.
full cast reading of it. Like
Full
I
cast
love
reading,
that.
6.5 hours. They adapted a bunch of the language. I think they improved some of the themes a little bit, just fine tuning it here and there. Great Long John Silver. So yeah, check that version out.
Is it Tim Curry? Sorry, no.
It is not Tim Curry.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm a big Muppet Treasure Island fan. So
as you should
anyway.
be, because that version.
It's a great movie. It's a great version. Anyway, no, I love Andy's Power Corner. I think Andy's Power Corner should continue through this. But yeah, there's so much stuff. Like I that scene where they are like the kids are asleep and everything. By the way, that joke landed really well for my 7-year-old. I'm not even tired. And then like, cut to
oh, that was so funny.
She does that every night when she's over. She'll she'll be like, I'm not tired at all, and fall into her bed because she thinks it's funny and stuff like that. So there you go. Way to go.
We gotta point out Neil
really
too, like bringing up the shit with the parents, being like, what do our parents do?
Right.
Like he's figuring stuff out. These kids are great.
Mm-hmm. They're so good. And I mean, Neil, I love Neil in that he is that very like, what is the word I'm looking for? I identify the most with Neil because that's the kind of child I was, is the goody two shoes,
100%,
but still along for the ride. Oh, you pegged me as a Neil, right?
Immediately.
There's some Jerry coding with Neil.
Yeah, I snore just like that as well. Kind of a thing. It's great. But just like I love that characterization of, it's the goody two shoes, the very careful kid, but not afraid to like, do what he's got to do with his friends. Like, well, I'm gonna go out with my friends and do this kind of thing. There, I love Neil. Great screams from Neil all the time, by the way, as well. Like he had a great scream at the end of this when he's flying the ship. So
relatable content with the two kids. Is it Will and what's her name? I'm a fake fan.
Wim
and Fern.
Wim and Fern arguing about who shot the X-wing. If you had to play split screen back in the day with your sibling, and
that was my shot.
Arguing about who got the kill, yeah,
that was incredible. No, well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about, so we go to see Kim. By the way, I've been raving about the creature designs in this show. I'm saying it's the best of the entire Disney acquisition era. Like this entire new era, I feel like the character, the creature design at least.
Well, let's just
say
what needs to be said right here. I think we have seen a lot of like, we have the 5 Ithorian masks. Let's just chuck them on somebody, we've got some Mon Cala heads hanging around. They do that kind of a lot, I feel like. And they really went out of their way, I think they understood also that like part of what was going to make this work and part of what was going to add to the world building and the scene setting is like really like the way that you make these kids feel like they are very far from home is start them in a place with very little variation and then just throw them into Port Borgo where everyone is just, it's very much like, right. When you're in the cantina for the first time in A New Hope and like, you're seeing Deveronians and chin balls and like, it really builds that for you that it's space and people are different. And like, they also did a really good job of not making them look too Muppety. Like you buy it completely. I just, it to me, that's part, like maybe my favorite part. And I think a lot of why, as you said earlier, it scratches that itch, because immediately, like, when I am so invested in just looking at everything on the screen and like looking to see what species I can recognize and who's new, and I completely buy it, and like nobody's even particularly, like, they're not moving around like they're in a costume, and also nobody is blatantly CGI, that it's like, like something, I hate to keep talking about Gremlins, but since I did just have to host it yesterday, the reason why Gremlins worked better than all of its knockoffs is because, originally they wanted to use monkeys. The monkeys freaked out when they had the masks on, and they're like, nope, we're not going to do that. So they paid $30,000 to $40,000 per animatronic, and there are a lot of animatronics in it, and it gives it something. And I think that when things are very outrageous in a scene, and they're going to make these like absolutely outsized alien characters, but they still have to be grounded in reality, so that you care if there is peril involved in them, like you care kind of how they fit into what happens. Like you have to give it realism. You have to have really good actors who can pull it off, and the design has to be flawless, and it was. I loved it.
Yeah, it does feel like Nassau. Like it does feel like Tortuga. It feels like a dangerous place. It feels different. It feels like a huge thing we talk about on my pirate show is the idea that pirates are outside society, and the themes of what does it mean to be in society, and what does it mean to exist outside of society. And this feels like a place outside of society. It feels like a place where you go if you don't belong. And it's for these kids who grew up in, the liberal suburbs, going to a place for people who don't fit into society, they feel like outcasts there. And it feels big and scary and dangerous and exciting. And I think they definitely are capturing that really, really well. And like it's the cantina, but bigger. It's that idea of stepping into a place and you're not in Kansas anymore. And all the costumes I think look fantastic. All the creatures look great.
Let's see. Have y'all had a favorite yet? My favorite is like the six-eyed horse guy who's like serving the shrimp guts or whatever, the lobster guts. That's my favorite guy so far. I don't know.
The Jawas. And anytime I see Jawas, I get excited. I love Jawas.
Just Jawas.
I love Jawas.
I love it. I love that.
I would also like to say, though, I would love to just see any like food or beverage establishment in Star Wars just serve something that's palatable looking,
a simple hamburger,
and normal, and that doesn't have like bug guts in it in some way, or isn't a plate full of worms.
Oh, I should mention I love the sexy werewolf as well.
Oh, I was gonna say so sexy werewolf. I like that. I was gonna say that's a great. Well, bringing back the werewolf to Star Wars too, because that was one thing. I'm a big special edition fan. I'll admit it. Lots of people, poo-poo me for that. Whatever. It is what it is.
I love the big scenes.
The one special edition change that I'm like, I wish they would have kept the Wolfman in there. But now we have Wolfman is back, and Wolfman. Not only does he have nards, Wolfman is sexy as hell.
He's never looked better, and he's rocking that brace of pistols.
Brace of pistols, and his voice,
AO3 is going to be a cesspool. I mean, it already is. But
it's
going to Jude Law fic are going to be nuts. And Jude Law fics are going to be wild.
I don't even want to talk about the stuff that popped in my head just now.
Actually,
oh my god,
we're going back to Andy's Pirate Corner real quick.
Well, let's go. Hold on.
Excuse my pronunciation because I'm not French and it's a French term. Matalotage was gay marriage on pirate crews. And it was the idea that if you die, it could be platonic or it could be like sexual, but if you die, your designated bestie, your designated spouse gets your gear, your money. And so it was essentially pirate life insurance. So you asked me, was Our Flag Means Death accurate? There is quite a lot of stuff in there. I mean, they Hollywood it, of course. But like the idea that like, no, you got like your husband on your ship, or you got like your person on your ship. If something happens to you, they get like your stuff. It's not going to be split up with the crew because like you're their designated person. And so for the people who are going to be shipping and writing fic of the Wolfman and Jude Law, use the term matelotage for their relationship. There you go, shippers.
You heard it here first.
I'm helping you out with your pirate lingo. Write that down. Gay pirate marriage. That's the term.
If there's one thing we're known for here, it is like helping shipper. Yeah, absolutely. We're known for helping people with their vocabulary here. Actually, no. When Andy's here, they help people with their vocabulary for sure. Andy helps me with my vocabulary, so I love that.
I'm here to talk about religious trauma and gay pirates. What's up?
Yeah,
I got
and I'm all out of bubble gum, right? Or something, right? No, okay. Well, let's go back to Kim's observatory for a moment, if we can, because there was a lot of cool or interesting reveals, things that we already kind of figured about these kids and stuff, but just like the whole idea that they don't know that there was a war, that that their planet was that Kim knew that their planet was this one of these jewels of the old republic kind of a thing. I found that very interesting, that most of them were destroyed, and that is intriguing in that, okay, so were we destroyed like accidentally on purpose? Like,
when in doubt, blame it on Revan.
It probably, but yeah, the Sith probably did something. Honestly, it's probably Revan. It is definitely Revan, actually. But no, I loved the. I don't know. Kim gave me Yoda, but not as
self-righteous and annoying. Sorry.
That Yoda, but like, you can like actually you can call Kim and be like, hey, listen, Kim, I'm really drunk. Can you come pick me up and stuff? And they won't give you a whole bunch of
I love
grief.
that she didn't talk down to the kids for being kids. Like, especially her conversation with KB. Like,
loved that part.
She gave KB advice, but it wasn't paternal. It was just like, hey, like, you're doing something dangerous, like, look out. And she trusted KB to make the choice to like go with Crimson Jack still. But yeah, I like this character a lot. And what I would give to get to dig through that set and see all of the Easter eggs everywhere up close, because I'm sure it's full of stuff we have not noticed yet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, she talks about how she has like tokens from 1,000 worlds, which I loved that whole line of like, there's 1,000 worlds.
1,000 worlds, 10,000.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was so. It's insane because they're basically living on Earth, and it feels like it just feels like these,
Well, also
to have that parallel of like, oh, well, there's thousands. Oh, wow.
And like the very sort of kind of weirdly, I don't know, that's maybe timely line of like, we learned about Coruscant and Alderaan, like Alderaan.
Oh, did you? Yeah, missed the war, did you?
Yeah, the line about missing the war was really funny. I got a kick out of that.
But just like, yeah, no, I hope this character stays around a little longer, because this is like the first like guiding character we've had since like, I guess, Maz Kanata,
right?
That I really feel like kind of has more of that like,
who, I don't know, unlike Maz Kanata might actually be good at their job. Sorry.
Well, and unlike Maz Kanata might actually show up in a few things, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. Like maybe she won't just Skype in to to tell them things. By the way, the only part of Last Jedi that I didn't really care for was just like Maz Kanata playing Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
While she was talking to them. So anyway, it is what it is. It's fine.
Was she union busting, or was she part of the union?
I have no
I feel
clue.
like she was union busting a little bit. I don't know.
Where was Maz Kanata on January 6th?
Yeah.
For what we know about Maz Kanata, I think she leans more I don't know. I don't even
Well,
know.
but I remember
It's based off of
crazy.
J.J. Abrams' old ass.
I don't
like,
want to
math teacher or
derail
whatever.
this, but there was a canceled Maz Kanata book that didn't happen, and the only reason that I know this is because, maybe this is my brain, but there was like some supposed to be subplot of like the reason why she has a crush on Chewie is because she had an affair with an inappropriately young Wookiee, meaning like she's 1,000 and I don't know, Wookiee is like 300 or something. But like it was supposed to, in my memory of reading about this in jury duty in like 2020, it was like supposed to be that she did have some sort of questionably anti-labor. I don't know, but there's like that's why I'm sort of like, I don't want to say anti-labor because it wasn't said that ham-fistedly, but that is why I want to lean towards.
Once you're 1,000, it's got to be hard to date.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
like, as long as the person is like of age for their species, like
that's what I was
think we can get
to.
Gap discourse at that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't think they have Twitter on like
Yeah,
in Star Wars, so I don't think
teens
people will
argue
really
about it,
care.
but I'm just gonna
if you're a consenting
if
adult.
everyone's a consenting adult within their species, you know,
right?
Get wet and wild.
1,000 years old, man. Like you got to cut Maz some slack, you know, kind of a thing. So anyway,
but yeah, maybe union busting. I know she was in a union dispute. I don't know what side she was on.
No, but it was. I remember it that like it actually supposed to be that she was like, you know, she was sympathetic to the cause of the rebellion, but also she herself had a checkered history with labor. That's how I remember it. Like
it's fair. Well, you're 1,000 years old. You get to make all of
or
the.
It was like a checkered
mistakes.
history with business in general. That's what I remember it being.
You get to make all the mistakes and come back. It's like a vampire. You get to decide. You get to just live however you want to, like for multiple years, and then just like change and stuff like that. Right. Maybe I don't know.
But yeah, Kim, super cool. Love all the maps. Love the big telescope. What a cool job in the Star Wars universe, you know, like astrologically, like watching the stars and like being an expert on like hyperspace routes and stuff. Very cool.
I also loved how like Star Wars steampunk it all was. You know what I mean?
Very
without crossing the line.
Yeah.
Without crossing the line. There were no gears everywhere, but like, yeah, it definitely had that steam vibe for sure.
Love how the whole room rotated too.
Yeah.
Like as they're going in, like in different like sections of it rotated different directions, which felt a little bit like Mario Kart.
Oh gosh, which just reminded me of something I wanted to bring up earlier. My gut feeling, and I'm gonna wager on this, and if I am wrong, I will Grubhub everyone in this podcast right now a meal. I think a lot of what this show is setting up is what they are going to end up doing with the remains of the Galactic Star Cruiser. This is what I think.
Ooh. That's a bold prediction. I'm into it.
Because a couple of things, like Disney has they're very good at doing like rotating rooms, number one. And number two, there's a point at which they walk into Port Borgo and like when they're first walking in, and it is designed like exactly like sort of like the entrance to, like you can see like the outside of it is very much like the entrance to that building. And I was like, I know what's gonna happen. So
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the Casterly heads watching, I'm gonna reference that I think it's very funny that Kim tried to fuck up Jude Law in the same way that Aurel attacks Jon Snow.
Oh.
Bird to the face, claws out.
Yeah.
Very funny. I like watching Jude Law fight a puppet.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep calling him Jude Law. I'm not going to call him by his Star Wars name.
No, he's got 50 names in the show anyway. So yeah, you're fine. Jude Nanawood. So yeah. Well,
it's a good show.
It is very good. It's very good. I was gonna say all in all, again, we've talked about the ending there where they like get him. I love KB like yelling at the X-Wings, you know, to get them to come there. That was great. I love that she's got like a megaphone.
Was I insane that I sort of half expected? I thought it was going to be Carson Teva, like.
I
No,
thought
I
it was going
expected it to
to
be
be
2. Him or Dave Filoni's like cowboy hatted head, like not even wearing a helmet. Like just popping out of there. Can you believe this?
I do love that Jod is like, all right, kids, we're gonna have you shoot at some cops. Like,
yeah, straight up was. And Wim was so pleased. He was like so happy.
Like these kids are delighted. They have no idea what an X-wing is, and we're just like, you are open firing on cop cars. Like, you guys are doing like Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas shit right now.
Yeah,
and they're like 8 years old. It's
But
very
like
funny.
also to give enormous credit to the casting, something that I noticed, like, boy, none of those kids comes off to me like an iPad baby. Like, they're not. Like, they really somehow like captured the spirit of like the 80s suspension of disbelief kind of kid, and I just love that so much. So
they don't have iPhone face.
Yeah.
maybe Neil, but that's about it. Yeah. Just like he gets like 30 minutes before bed. That's it.
Do we want to talk about what we want from the show moving forward? Can I steal your job, Jerry, and ask a question?
Please do. No, listen, I don't ask questions. Okay,
hijack, you could say.
Oh, you're gonna. Oh, okay. All right.
Boarding this ship and taking over.
There's a mutiny aboard. Oh no, what's going on?
What do you guys want moving forward from the rest of the show?
I guess number one, I mean, for as much as I feel like I do know where it is going, I love when Star Wars surprises me. I love when Star Wars turns things on its head. Like if they are kind of in some way trying to parallel what Stranger Things did, like I kind of like I mean, I'm okay with it being some kind of mystery that buttons up at the end of every season, because I definitely think this right off the bat, this is so popular. It's for sure getting season 2. But like I would love to see them like I don't know. I kind of like really don't want to see the kids returned to the parents. I like the idea of them like really truly being a merry band of pirates on their own. And I would love to just see them like, per season in like as a crew in like these individual adventures, all in a different, beautifully built, beautifully crafted world that I am invested in. So yeah, I guess that's what I want.
Okay. Honestly, I'm just so happy going along for the ride. It's what I love. What I want Star Wars to do for me is I want to have so much fun that I don't care where we're going.
Yes.
I want to go. I want you to take my hand and lead me on a journey. Cause I can't find it on my own. I'm not very smart. So just lead me along. And so, that's what I that sounds really bad, but I'm really enjoying, where we're going. I enjoy not knowing where it's going. That's my favorite thing in the world.
So there are, if this is Treasure Island, there are two ways that Treasure Island ends. Version 1 is Jim lets Long John Silver go. Spoilers for Treasure Island, a book written like,
oh damn it, man,
200 years ago or something. Jim lets Long John Silver go. And then he decides to join the Navy because pirates are bad and the Navy is good. And he still has a soft spot for Long John Silver, but he's like, I'm going to join the Navy. Version 2 is he lets Long John Silver go, realizes that everyone's a pirate, just some are honest about it. And he decides not to join the Navy because they're just as bad as pirates are. And like, if this idea of piracy is like society versus those outside society, At-Atin is like the pinnacle of society gone too far. Like their future is over, like decided right away. It's overly policed. There's surveillance everywhere. Everyone has these like miserable sounding white collar jobs. The school seems awful and is run by droids. Like it is just society like to the umpteenth degree. And then we're seeing these kids now completely outside of society with like, Pirate Town and con artists and crazy looking aliens and stuff. And it's like, all right, like I want the show to really deal with those themes. And ideally, I would like them to deal with the themes in such a way where it shows that, like, sure, total anarchy is, you know, too far, but Atten is also too far. And can we find a middle? And can we, like, I want there to be some compassion for the piratey characters, you know, like I clearly have a soft spot for them. I don't want them to just all be cannon fodder or villains. I'm hoping that we see some real heart there. And I'm hoping for a Hondo cameo or reference.
Yeah, hell yeah,
just like a little Easter egg.
Just
like
something.
If I just, you know, if I see his Jolly Roger somewhere, I'll be real happy. So, but like thematically, that's kind of what I'm hoping for from the show as it deals with the pirate stuff.
And I guess let me also say the reason why I showed up like this and I asked Gerry to show up like this is because I had the realization watching this third episode. You know, I said earlier when we were in the chat, but not to the public, on this very show, I said, you know, the Mandalorian season 2 finale was the last time I really felt that Star Wars Christmas feeling. Because for a while we were really like spoiled and we got something Star Wars at Christmas for, you know, like for a good stretch of time. And I feel it coming again. I know it's coming again. I know they're going to drop something that just makes me feel Star Wars Christmassy, and I'm really excited. And I'll just throw in like a personal anecdote. In Christmas, like the day after the Mandalorian season 2 finale aired, you know, obviously New York was like locked down. It was the first Christmas I was able to do Christmas things in New York City because there weren't no tourists whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
And I went to see the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, which I never do because it's just wall to wall human beings. And I had my Chewbacca Christmas pants on. And it was the day after the Mandalorian season 2 finale. And the guard who was standing alone in front of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree was like, "Oh my God, did you see it?" And I was like, "Yes." And we just stood in front of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, totally empty, just talking about Star Wars and screaming and being excited, like shaking because we saw Luke and it was so cool and it was Christmas and it was just everything. And in my heart of hearts, like I watch this episode and I feel it. Like I just feel like they're about to drop some of that like magic on us again. This is a hedged bet. This is far-fetched, but they are
making a lot of bets tonight, by the way.
I am, but like, you know, like look, if you're like, if they're using Jude Law to like nod to characters in the comics, I feel like we're gonna get some nudge wink wink to the holiday special. This is what I'm saying. This is what I think might happen. I think they're going to do it. They're going to do something. They're going to do something, and I'm like so excited about it. I can't wait.
We already had the acrobat video where it's like, I mean, essentially that is, I guess, the Coco Melon of Star Wars now. So
it would be really cute if they if the kids celebrated Life Day on the ship. That would be
amazing.
Really cute. You know, if they realize like, oh wow, we've been gone like from home for a month. It's Life Day.
Yeah,
and they that'd be really cute.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I completely agree that like Star Wars and Christmas go hand in hand together. I know that like I always associate the two together, and it was really awesome when we were getting new Star Wars during the Christmas season. Like that always feels extra special. And so I definitely like am getting the. Like it feels good watching this show next to my tree, you know, like it just feels great.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's wonderful. And I was gonna say, like, I had my tree on when we were watching it, you know, with when I was watching it with Ellie this afternoon, and it's lovely. It's so nice. What would make it Christmassy for me is if that's the day that we get the Phil Tippett giant crab monster and stuff like. And it's on a snow planet, so you know that's Christmassy, right? But no, okay, that's not so great anyway. But listen, first of all, is there any last thoughts on this episode that we want to get out before we start to wrap up here? Because I've loved this, and honestly, I'll take one more Andy's Pirate Corner before we go too, if you'd like.
Yes.
Oh,
But
man,
what else? What else we all wanted? Are y'all wanting to get in here about this episode that you would got to get out of your heads before we go? But let's get some Andy's Pirate Corner too, as well.
I don't know if I have another Andy's Pirate Corner here. I guess
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, I guess I'll say the like quartermaster, like the quartermaster, which is what Shmi is on the ship, first mate. His job is not to only enforce the captain's orders. His job is also to advocate for the crew to the captain. So if you're members on the crew and you have beef with the captain, you don't go to the captain yourself and like state your case. You go to the quartermaster and you complain to him. And then he goes to the captain and says, hey, some members on the crew are concerned about XYZ, and they hash it out. And so, but then also like if crew is back talking to the captain and they're at sea, the quartermaster is going to come down hard on you. So we see Shmi acting that way to Jod, where it's like, hey, we're not in port right now. You need to listen to the fucking captain. And her name's Fern, and she's a badass. And like her word is law while we're at sea.
Right.
So like I think that's been really fun and cool. And I like that the werewolf quartermaster called the vote of no confidence on Jod and was like, we haven't been getting paid, like fuck this, like we're holding a vote and you're out. And I like that they didn't kill him. It seems a little weird that they were going to hold a trial for him, but I do like the idea that like crews could leave captains, like Captain Jack Rackham, Charles Vane, and Edward Teach Blackbeard were all members of the same crew, and then they split and started forming their own crews. But like they all like went up together in the same crew. So like, yeah, that happens. Like crews split, crews decide to follow new captains, that sort of thing. And like, by and large, it didn't seem like there were hard feelings over it. Like pirates had amicable breakups. So
right.
That's good stuff there.
I love that. Okay. Ray, any last thoughts?
I guess, I don't know. I wish that I had more articulate piratey things to say. I do not. My last thought is I am very excited to see like the invariable huggable merch that's going to come out of Neil, and I want one immediately. And I don't know. I just like, I guess, look, I am a very all Star Wars is good Star Wars person. I love being in the galaxy regardless. And honestly, the only like I got through lockdown just reading Star Wars book after Star Wars book, and I never felt trapped in my house. You know what I mean? And it's been a hard run of these streaming series, not just because obviously, you know, they varied in quality, but because there was just like, I got so tired of feeling like, to use a pirate term, I had to gird me loins the day after every single show because the reaction was going to be so vitriolic. And look, it's not like I want to pander to people who were mean and terrible, but maybe right now, what we needed more than anything is not just something that everybody could enjoy, but something that could heal that broken thing in everybody's heart. And I don't know, maybe I'm being too mushy. Maybe that's dramatic, but something about this show is really doing that for me. So I don't know. I hope it's doing it for everybody.
Yeah. No, I'm cold and dead inside, but it's pretty great. I will say.
Yeah. Some last thoughts that aren't Pirate Corner is just like,
yes,
I love this show. It makes me really happy, and I love these characters. I love the mystery. I love the adventure of it, and like it's a good show so far. Like I know we're only 3 episodes in. I don't know how it's going to end, but these 3 episodes have been, and especially the 3rd one, have been fantastic. So I'm really excited about it. I love that it's a Star Wars show that is for me. If it's not for you, I get it. I've had those Star Wars shows where I'm like, I'm not the target for this one, and that's fine. I'll move on. I'll reread something I love. I'll rewatch something I love. But like, this one's really hitting for me, and it feels great. It feels like a really good holiday gift, so I'm pumped for it.
Love it. Yeah, this is like a warm hug.
I'm just going to say that I feel like I haven't smiled like this talking about Star Wars, and we've talked a lot of Star Wars on this very show, and I just haven't felt that thing from my heart the way that I do from this show. And it's just like I get to say "we" again, and that's how I want Star Wars to make me feel. So
right. You mean you get to say yippee? Okay, there's your obligatory Star Wars reference there. So yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you both for being on tonight and for bearing with me through all this. Andy, thank you for actually taking the reins there for a moment as well. I love that. And I love you both. I'm glad that you got to come on here. Thank all of you out there for being with us. And just real quick, go ahead, Ray, tell the good people where they can find you.
You can. I am so all over the place. I am at Regaba on Twitter and Blue Sky. I am Newt Regan on TikTok, which hopefully stays around for the foreseeable
such
future.
A good name.
I was just gonna say, I don't think I've heard that one. That one's incredible.
I am Oysters on the Half Shirt on Instagram. And I am a small Anakin in my real life. But also incidentally, Gerry, and I have a bunch of these for you because there is a place near my house that sells loose Power of the Force era bagged figures for $5. So I've got a little Nakey C-3PO for you, and I've got a Dr. Zaius in a bag that they also had for Scotty. So Scotty, you're getting that. You're getting that.
well, thank you. But okay, so go follow Ray. Go see all the wonderful things that she's doing. Andy, give us one more chance to find the lovely things that you do, and you do a lot of wonderful programming. Frankly,
that is my automatic litter box going wild in the corner. Sorry,
that's
one of my cats must have taken a real stinky shit. Where can you find me? I'm at a One Hat Town on Blue Sky and Instagram. You can find me LARPing in the woods. Shout out to my Pendarvin pals. My podcast network is called Where They May Radio, and the show I'm currently doing there is called Genders, Queers, and Buccaneers. I've talked about it a lot tonight because it's very relevant to Skeleton Crew. And then every so often I'm over on Casterly Talk. I'm just I just show up there sometimes. So that's where you can find me places. And thank you so much for having me back on Bombadcast. It was great to be here.
It was awesome to be with you.
Yeah, for sure. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
Oh, shucks.
You're both amazing. Just stop it. You're making me sick. I love you both. But anyway, guys, thank you again for being with us. We love you all. And listen, I'm gonna listen. Have a duel. Who wants to say stay Bombad?
We should say it all at once on the count of three.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3.
Stay Bombad!
Yar har. Chivalry timbers.
Arg.
Did you say impossible? Pasquale? Only kidding, Chucky. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it? Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see them?